Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Irmen.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Thank you very, very much for tuning in yet again. I, as always, appreciate the fact that you're here. Hey, if you have not shared the podcast with somebody, please do. You know, if nothing else, just challenge yourself to see how many people think you're an idiot. You will know who your friends are if you share this with all your friends. All right. That is today's challenge for you. Anyway, if you would be so kind as to leave a review, I would appreciate that. But let's get into it. So today I want to talk to you about the golden rule. We are back in Nelson's book. For those of you that have the Becoming Your Own Banker book, which is my financial Bible to the infinite banking concept, we are on page 31, the golden rule, where Nelson talks about those with the gold make the rules. And obviously he gets much deeper into this chapter. And I am telling you guys, I've read this book a bazillion times, and there is stuff that I missed in here. And going back through this book study, I will call it, has really enlightened me. And it's just every time you read the book, you see different things. And I've had other infinite banking practitioners, other agents reach out to me and say, hey, who are you doing this study with? And so I encourage you, you don't have to be, our study group is agents that we're training, but you don't have to be in my study group or another study group. If you're an agent listening to this, pick up Nelson's book and read that and see if your thoughts are the same as mine, what you got from it and what you're learning from everything that Nelson has got to say in his book. We're just on book number 1 yet, not even halfway through, you guys. I know these podcasts are maybe a lot, but it's so much good information. And it really brings to light his thought process of what he was thinking. So if you've just read Farming Without the Bank, why? Why did you stop there? Why not go get Becoming Your Own Banker? You can get it on farmingwithoutthebank.com. You can get it on Amazon. I really don't care where you get it from. Just get it. It's so good. So he's talking about the golden rule. And the very first sentence in this chapter is those who have the gold make the rules, right? And when I think of that in the farming industry right now, who's got the gold? The packing plants, right? They're telling you how much your cows are worth. You got Cargill. They're telling you how much they're going to give you for grain. And if they want to screw you over, they can, because you need them, right? They're the big guys that are basically taking over everything. And we have those big guys in every aspect of business. It doesn't matter if it's farming or if it's non-farming. You've got the Walmarts, you've got the Targets, you've got the Lowe's and the Home Depots and these big companies that get to make decisions based on what's going to happen. And even with what's going on in the country right now with COVID, we get to see who's mandating us to wear masks and we get to protest or we get to go in or whatever we want to do. But those big companies, those with the gold, make the rules. And so as we go through this chapter, it's a really interesting chapter because Nelson talks about in childhood, he said, you do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But this corruption is very true. That those with the gold make the rules. They don't do unto others as they would want done unto them, right? Because they're overstepping that bounds. Meaning there are still good people left in this world. There are lots of them. I see them all the time. He says, we have almost lost the concept of what capitalism is about. The common man has become so infatuated with living for today that the importance of saving, creating capital, is all but lost of value. Isn't that true? We want things today, so we're not going to save. We're going to go buy what we want today, so we're not creating capital. When we think of capitalism, we think of big corporations taking over, being greedy, because that's what people want us to think, right? That's what the media wants us to think. But capitalism in our own home, in our own checking account, is saving, creating capital so we can go buy something, creating capital so we can invest in something. We've completely forgotten that we need the capital to do that. As a result, someone else must provide the capital that is necessary to sustain our way of life. And that comes at a very high cost. Because we don't want to be patient, we don't want to capitalize. We go somewhere else to borrow that money. And it's so funny how people will say, well, how long before I get access to my money? I'm going to have access to my money right away, right? You have to capitalize a policy. Yes, I can give you access with my company in 7 to 10 days. Yes, I can do that with one of my companies, 7 to 10 days. Another company, 30 days. You're going to have access to your money. Isn't that awesome? But you must capitalize it. If you don't put a lot in, you're not going to get a lot out. Nelson said, if you put peanuts in, you get peanuts out. You've got to capitalize. You've got to create savings. It's going to take some time to do that. If you want instant gratification, you get to keep going to the bank to buy land, to buy tractors, to buy cows, whatever it is you're buying, you get to keep going to the bank. Or you can wait and capitalize. When I tell somebody, well, when are you done with that tractor payment? Oh, I'm going to be done in a year. Great. Are you going to go buy another tractor? And they say, well, gosh, it'd sure be nice. Well, can we not buy a new tractor? Can we capitalize that policy so that the next tractor can be bought through the policy and we can borrow against the policy? Do we need something instantly? And then if we do, we cannot complain. Because as a result, we have to go somewhere else to somebody who has capital, and we're going to pay a high price for that. And what is that price we're going to pay? The cost of interest? The control to somebody else? The lost opportunity cost on our money? There's a lot loss of control could be the livelihood. We're putting our livelihood up as collateral, which I talk about all the time with farmers. Your livelihood is collateral. That's the cost of not capitalizing. That's what you're giving up for giving up control, right? What if I go to the bank to have them capitalize a purchase, but I have liquid money still, but I can get it from the bank cheaper than I can borrow it from the policy? I still have control because I have the liquid money to pay them off if I needed to. We need to take time to capitalize. It's not a bad thing. I agree with Nelson. We have forgotten. He also goes on to talk about the fact that Panasonic, and I don't know the story outside of what he is saying in this chapter, but that Panasonic wanted to move their operations to Mexico because he said, if the Japanese, what could be a better marriage than the Japanese capital and the Mexican labor? So Panasonic wanted to move all their stuff to Mexico. Mexico wanted 51% of the business, meaning they would be in control. Panasonic said, nope, no thank you. We're not going to go to Mexico. So who won? Panasonic, because those with the gold make the rules, right? But what did he says in here? The typical Japanese strategy is that they will put money into a business and lose money and expect to lose money for 5 years, they will plow all of that money back into the business for the next 5 years. So they're never actually taking any kind of capital out of that business until year 11. 5 years they're going to lose, 5 years they're going to put in. They're going to capitalize that business, right? They're going to make sure it's making a profit and that it has some sort of profit to take from. Capital is a responsibility and should be treated with great respect. When you have a large amount of cash on hand, good opportunities will appear. And you can also negotiate very favorable purchase prices. Now, Nelson talked about this all the time. Why I missed those 2 sentences in the book, I have no idea, but I did. So when you have liquid money, opportunities will come to you. And you now have an opportunity to take advantage of that, maybe at a better price because you have access to money in 24 hours or a couple of hours. This is exactly what happened to Nelson. He had liquid money in a life insurance policy, and he was able to buy land from a partner that had to sell at a really low price. And he knew that was a good opportunity. How many neighbors or farmers have you heard about that had an opportunity to buy land because somebody else was selling out? They had that opportunity because they capitalized, right? If they didn't capitalize with liquid money, they may have had enough equity in their land they could go to the bank. Or they maybe didn't have so much debt so they could go to the bank and borrow what they needed. He goes on to say, so many of life's problems would disappear if this understanding was generally accepted and practiced wildly among the population. Why does he say that? Because we wouldn't have to go to the bank. We would all have capital of our own to choose from. He said it is not a numbers game. Whatever you do in the financial world is compared to what everyone else is doing. So if nobody else is capitalizing and you're going to win, right? If everybody else is buying stuff they don't need and you're not, you're going to win. You're going to have opportunities arise because you have more money. It is compared to what? Compared to what the next guy's doing? We're always looking at what the next guy's doing, but how is he doing it? Is he going to the bank and letting them and using their capital, or is he using his own capital? And then he has a really awesome excerpt from a new message on the Constitution written by Jackson Pemberton. And I'm not going to read it all here because it's really long, but it's really good. And I think that obviously you're going to get the book. Obviously, you're going to order this book when you're done listening to the podcast. And you really need to look at that because he is talking about the fact that success has brought us security, which put you to sleep, right? Success of this country has put us to sleep. We just think it's easy. We just go to the bank. We forget about capitalizing. We forget about our constitutional rights. And a lot of what he's saying here is based on constitutional rights. And I'm not going to go into the constitutional rights, but those of you who think like Nelson, who want less government, are going to really enjoy this chapter in the book. Most people know there is a play going on in the world, but they don't understand it. Worse than that, they can't get the characters in the play straight. I have abdicated their opportunity / responsibility as it pertains to the banking function in the economy. They are depending on somebody else to perform that job, and the character in this play is making most of the money. Who is the character in the play? You should be the banker. The name of Nelson's book is Become Your Own Banker. You should be the character in the play that is the banker. You should be lending it to other people. If you have just money sitting around and you're lending it to other people today and you don't even have a policy, that's okay. You're still the banker. You are still that character in the play. That's who you want to be. That's the whole point of the infinite banking concept, is you become the banker. You take back control. You will have the gold to make the rules. Sounds pretty awesome, doesn't it? But in order to get there, you must capitalize. You must not buy things we don't truly need. We might have to sacrifice in order to capitalize in the end. And it's funny because I listen to a lot of podcasts. And recently I've been listening to a lot of podcasts on real estate investing. And the people that are doing awesome capitalized. Or they put 60% down and they only do a 40% loan. They don't have everything borrowed. And there's a fine line. I talk about, equity in your land does nothing for you. It's not liquid. You can't borrow against it. But at the same time, the bank can't take it. So there's a fine line between equity. I have equity in my home. I don't have a full loan on my home because I want to be able to say, if I need to pay this off, I can pay this off. I don't want to be upside down if something happens. I'm just playing it a little more safe. And he ends the chapter saying, succumbing to these feelings produces a huge burden on your financial future. The price must be paid. You will always be at the mercy of the ones with the gold. So if we don't create our own capital, if we don't capitalize our bank account, our life insurance policy, ultimately, I really don't care where you put this capital. Obviously, a life insurance policy is going to be better due to the compound interest and dividends. But if you choose to use your garbage can, because that's pretty much what the dollar is worth right now, if you choose to use your bed, if you choose to use a tin can, your savings account, I really don't care. But if you were to capitalize, you're still in a better position than being at the mercy of the banks. And they are the character in control. They are the one that has the ultimate control. Move that control back to you and you become the banker, and it's not going to happen overnight, and instant gratification is just going to have to go by the wayside. A little bit of patience. A little bit of patience. We talk about our young children today and how they have no patience because they had electronics. So what is the excuse for the 50, 60, 40-year-old who didn't have those electronics, who doesn't have the patience to capitalize a policy or save money to buy that tractor or to buy the combine or to finance less of it? Even if it's just to finance less of it, right? It's not an all or nothing approach. I've said that a million times as well. So even if you're just financing less of it, that's just less control the bank has. Even if it's 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, it's still that much less control that the bank has. Those with the gold make the rules. Do you want to capitalize so that you can make the rules or not? You can have cash. Cash is not king, but cash is still better than financing everything with the bank, right? Because you can still pay yourself back plus interest. You are still in control. You capitalized in order to buy anything with that cash. You've got that down. That is still better than going to the bank and giving up control, right? We cannot allow somebody else to take care of us. If we do, we then cannot complain because they have control. We have allowed that. We allowed it. I can't complain that the bank is making me fill out a bunch of paperwork to refinance a loan when we're giving them that control. The only way out of it is to just not have them. Easier said than done, Mary Jo. Yes, I know. I wasn't born yesterday. I get it. It is easier said than done. But if you don't want to do it, then you can't complain about it, right? If we want to do something about it and we're trying to get out of that and we're trying to get control back, complain all day long, I am happy to hear it. Okay? But if we don't want to take the steps to change it, we have no right to complain about it because we have voluntarily given up that control. Okay, that was the golden rule. That was 2 pages in Nelson's book. And I stretched that out to about 20 minutes, you guys. I'm good at this stuff. It's a matter of just looking at, if you've not got this book, get the book and read it and study it. Study along with me and go to the next chapter, read it, highlight it, listen to the podcast. Let's make it a book study together. You guys, this stuff is awesome, and people are missing the first half of Nelson's book, and they jump right to the numbers. People skip by the first half of my book, and they jump right by the numbers because they just want to see the numbers. And I know who did it. When I'm in a meeting with you, I know who's doing that because you're asking questions that should not be asked. Because you missed the first half of the book, you didn't think that was relevant. When you know who the characters in the play are and you want to be the banker and you want to capitalize and you understand the laws that we went over last time that have to be addressed, you're going to understand that you're going to need some patience and that this is a good system and why it is so much different than everything else you hear about. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in. Please, if you've not gotten my book, if you need Nelson's book, go to farmingwithoutthebank.com and grab the books there. And here's one other thing. If you guys would like to listen, if you guys would like me to do a webinar, or if you guys would attend a webinar, shoot me an email at maryjo@withoutthebank.com and say, yep, webinar would be great. And then I can kind of get a grasp because I don't know when I'm going to be able to travel and even be in a hotel again. I know people are traveling, but some states, no large groups, whatever. I only know I can go to South Dakota, do anything I want. North Dakota is pretty easy as well, but South Dakota, game on. So if you guys want to do that, please, just shoot me, or you can even shoot us a text message at our office number, which is 701-751-3917. Not an easy number, 701-751-3917. You can shoot us a text message that says, yeah, webinar would be great, because then I can kind of get an idea of the fact that you guys would attend. I am not sure farmers want to attend webinars. Let's be honest. Yeah, you guys are not huge computer people. I have a really hard time sitting behind a webinar myself, but I was really hoping to be out and about doing seminars, and clearly, God only knows if that's going to happen next year. So let me know, and I would be happy to do to do a webinar at some point. But I kind of want some feedback on it. So let me know. You can always catch me on Facebook too. So I am on Facebook a lot. So if you have a message or need anything, you can go to Facebook, and it's Farming Without the Bank there, LinkedIn, Twitter, I'm everywhere between Farming Without the Bank and my name. So thank you very much for tuning in. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to hear, and we will talk to you next week. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.